On today's episode, we're joined by the fabulous Sophia from Sofia Sees Beauty, a luxury beauty and lifestyle YouTuber who's mastered the art of glowing from the inside out. We dive into the latest makeup trends, which products are truly worth the splurge, and which you can totally skip, and her best tips for staying polished and put together even in the summer heat. What's even more inspiring, Sophia's journey from corporate tech world to building a thriving career in beauty, proving that it's never too late to pivot toward your passion. This episode is full of smart advice, beauty gems, and real talk about taking bold risks. Tune in, you don't want to miss it.
If you're a multi-passionate hustler who loves squeezing the juice out of life and is always looking to get to the next level, then Share the Wealth is for you. Welcome. I'm Zeba.
And I'm Sarah.
We're two friends who just happen to live across the street from each other and share a deep passion for entrepreneurship and wellness. After meeting as neighbors, we quickly bonded over our similar journeys, starting out in Fortune 500 companies before diving headfirst into the world of entrepreneurship and opening fitness studios.
Together, we bring unique perspectives to the table, combining years of experience in business, fitness, and personal growth. Join us and our incredible guests as we explore the realities of being ambitious women, navigating business, motherhood, wellness, and the many twists and turns life throws our way. So let's start sharing.
So just to get a sense of who you are, when did you decide you were into beauty?
I've been into beauty ever since I can remember. I grew up in a family with a lot of women, surrounded by a lot of femininity all the time. And it's not necessarily that any one person in my family was as into makeup and beauty as me, but it's just something that I really latched onto as a kid. Like my grandfather would take us to CVS and they had the little, aisle with the kids' toys and stuff. And my sister wanted this or that toy, and I wanted like the little kids' blush palette. Those are the things I wanted. When I was little, when I got older, I was very into skincare. I had a book that showed me how to make sugar scrubs and face masks out of Greek yogurt and honey. I would force my sister and her friends to do spa days. I'd be like, okay, I'm going to be like basically the esthetician. Like I made a little like steam and some like tea bags for our eyes. I used to make my own skincare. My mom even made me like a little logo to put on like the jars of my scrubs and things.
What was
I
the
was
name
such
of
a
your
strange
company?
kid. I think it just said Sophia on it. I don't think I
Yeah,
even came
fair
up with
enough.
a real
Such a
name.
beautiful.
I think I was the original Sephora kid. You know how they have the Sephora kids at the store now, and the younger generation is so interested in beauty because of social media. I can't judge them much because that's exactly how I was.
Oh my gosh, I was just thinking about this too. I found some old pictures of me like 11 and 12. I was trying to recreate, you remember the Guess ads with like the super
Yes.
smoky, like I was trying to
Yes.
recreate back then. I was like, there's evidence. I was so shook. I'm like, oh my gosh, I was a Sephora kid too.
I used to learn makeup from books. Now kids just watch, I don't know, TikTok or whatever they're watching. I used to have my Allure and like Bobbi Brown books and
Allure, yeah.
magazines, and I would read the step by step, like how to create a smoky eye. And it never looked like the photo, but I tried my best.
Was there a point growing up you thought this might be a career for you, or did that come later?
It came later on because I didn't grow up with social media. Over time, I learned if I didn't see a direct path to the opportunity I wanted, I had to create it myself. My career has been in tech around entrepreneurial people who aren't afraid to fail or take risks. It became commonplace to be around people who would start their own thing, but I didn't feel that way when I was younger. My parents and sister are doctors. So when I was younger, I thought to myself, maybe I'll be a dermatologist because I really love skincare and I really love makeup and cosmetology. Then my parents realized I was a very just kind of like persuasive, business minded person in addition to creative. They pushed me to go into business management. So that's what I studied in college. And from there on, I picked up information systems because I was just really fascinated with technology and how fast moving the industry was. So there was a period of my life where I never stopped loving makeup, fashion, and skincare, but I was always definitely throughout my 20s, I was kind of struggling with how can I take what I'm doing now and sort of make it a career? In 2020, I basically like didn't have, I mean, just like a lot of people, I was stuck at home. A lot of the activities that I used to do, I didn't do anymore. I was watching a lot of beauty YouTube and live streams and that kind of stuff. And I really just wanted to have a place where I could post my makeup looks day to day. And I wanted to just talk about makeup. So I started an Instagram account, started posting, little things there. And it got to a point where I was posting so much to my stories. It was getting frustrating because it was very clear to myself that I wanted to do something long form. Sit
Mhm.
and have a conversation, review things, share my opinion. One day I had the 10-minute video. It wasn't uploading to Instagram. I was just like, oh, forget it. I'm just going to upload it to YouTube because I spent all this time making this little video about Pat McGrath eyeshadow palettes and like speed reviewing all of them. And I just got frustrated. I went to YouTube and I uploaded it. I
You're
basically never stopped uploading, and you can still see that video on my channel. It's the oldest video I
Oh,
have.
I love that you're bringing up 2020. You said, I'm not going anywhere, but I'm still practicing my looks, playing with makeup. It's part of that lipstick effect. Even in recessions, people don't stop buying makeup. They might stop buying luxury bags, but that lipstick and mascara just makes you feel good. Like an
Yes.
instant little like serotonin boost and more accessible than buying most luxury products.
And that was definitely true during 2020. We saw like a huge boom in the beauty industry. And to some
Hmm.
extent, some brands now are trying to figure out like how to bounce back. But it changed the way that we shop for makeup, the way that we gather recommendations for makeup. Because, used to be you would go to the woman at the beauty counter and she would recommend things to you, maybe do your makeup, maybe you would have a full experience at the department store that day, or you were very loyal to one particular brand. But I think, especially after 2020, and this happened in a lot of industries, but with beauty specifically, I think a lot more people have been open to buying makeup online through social media. And now people like myself, I've become that woman at the beauty counter, but I have a platform of many more people watching me and watching me on a regular basis. So it's just interesting how purchasing behavior has changed.
I love that example because I used to go to Macy's and comb counter for prom, and that's where we would go if we like needed a
Yeah.
recommendation. And for that, you are the beauty counselor lady, and that's so much more accessible. Just makes so much more sense.
I also remember having some really bad calls by some of the ladies
Yeah.
where like they would do your makeup. You're like, wow, I do not look like myself, but not in a good way, not in the way that I don't want to look like
Yeah.
myself. Who am I?
I remember going to the MAC counter and they would do a thick lip liner and concealer lip gloss. And I'm like, thanks. But it would never be anything I would wear in real life.
Speaking of recommendations for summer 2025, what are some summer trends that you're seeing that you're loving and that people that are makeup novices can take away?
I always tell people never feel pressure to follow trends. And I have subscribers that always say, I don't follow trends, but then they're the same people that are always asking me about these very popular colors and products that are coming out. So I really think that anybody can celebrate trends if it works for them and have fun with them in a really easy way. One of the biggest trends right now is blush is just so big. And the two colors that are really dominating product releases and social media right now is red blush and lilac blush. Honestly, lilac anything. They're very different colors. Like one is very bright, one is very light and pastel. When you look at these colors, a lot of people think, oh, those are kind of scary to wear, they're hard to pull off. But there's actually a lot of really fun ways that you can wear these. So, like for red blush, highly recommend going for a cream formula. So one of my favorite brands, RMS Beauty, is founded by Rosemary Swift, a famous makeup artist for Victoria's Secret models, has a viral red blush used on Victoria's Secret angels. It looked natural and rosy, but it's actually a red color. It's called Beloved. It's like her little cream blushes in a pot. That's a great one if you want something very natural
I know. I'm
looking, gives
like
you kind of like that. You don't,
taking notes.
do you have that one?
No, we're
Oh, are
laughing
you
because I'm
taking
like
notes?
sitting our pasty skin here. We're like, wow, we need this the Victoria's Secret glow here.
Yes.
Yeah, it recently went viral on TikTok, but that color's been around for years. She created it for the runways. I also like the ones from Rare Beauty. They have one called Grateful, not as dewy, but still gives a beautiful kind of dewy glow to the skin. Dior just came out with a new backstage line with some punchy summer colors, including a cherry one. I recommend going for a cream because you can really just like melt it into the skin and it looks like that kind of romantic, natural flush. For lilac, this has been a very interesting trend. A lot of the trends and products we're seeing now are influenced by K beauty, J beauty, a lot of the trends that are happening over in Asia. Lilac and light pinks are popular in that market. And so it's kind of trickled its way over into the Western market as well and become a very novel color that I think people haven't really seen before. I think that's added a lot to the popularity. One thing you need to be careful about is if you are any deeper than my skin tone, they can look a bit ashy on the skin. But Rare Beauty has a beautiful lilac one that works great for medium to deeper tones.
Rare Beauty is Selena Gomez's brand, right?
Yes, you can
Okay.
find it at Sephora, and it's one of the most affordable brands at Sephora as well. It's like really,
Cool.
really good value compared to a lot of the other things you can find. Gucci has a beautiful lilac highlighter. Like their highlighters are unbelievable. My subscribers are always asking for comparisons with those. They have a gorgeous lilac shade. So if you're deeper in skin tone and lilac blushes are too ashy, incorporating a light shimmery highlighter is beautiful. And another really interesting way that you could incorporate the lilac trend is with like an eyeshadow topper. If you're a one and done type of person, maybe just do a little bronzer in the crease or one shade all over the eye. A really nice way you can kind of brighten up the eye and add a little bit of, just something different that takes you 2 seconds to do is you can just buy a very shimmery lilac, topper, or you could just use a highlighter if you have the Gucci highlighter, and you just put a little bit in the center of the eye. And so you get that sort of lilac effect, but it's not anything too much. Takes 2 seconds.
I'm laughing because I can picture what I'm going to do next. I'm the lilac fairy here.
Same.
This sounds so fun, Sophia. For our listeners, if you want to get a visual, I caught your latest YouTube where you're doing a lot of these comparisons. Because
Yeah.
I would, if you told me lilac just here on the podcast, I'd be like, yeah, that's a hard no. I'm not into K beauty. But when I saw you showing the differences, I was already like, okay, where do I start looking for this? And you were showing the Dior one, right? The Dior lilac, was it?
Dior just launched their backstage cream blushes and reformulated their powder blushes. They have two different formulas, but same shades. So you can pick whatever you prefer.
I think the cool thing about cream blushes is they're easier to manipulate. With powder blush, if my skin isn't set up for it, it streaks and I can't like get control of it anymore. But with a blush, you can just kind of keep rubbing.
You could use your fingers if you don't even have brushes, or maybe you're just on the go and you have like your little makeup bag in your tote, you're traveling. I think a lot of people, a lot of busy people like cream products because you can apply with your fingertips.
Can relate. You don't need to carry the brush, the perfect brush, or
The primer to get face ready.
Or it could be multi-purpose.
I love that tip about the lilac topper on the eyes. Most people are about what you can do fast. I don't have any eyeshadow on right now, so I need a solution. I'm taking that one.
We'll send you our pictures and you would improve.
Yeah, we'll do before and afters. Okay, anything summer specific? Any tips or must-haves for humidity and sweat? A lot of people this time of year, their routines change and they're like, should I really be putting on all this makeup if I'm just going to be sweaty? How do you handle heat in your world?
I definitely have tips. I live in Dallas, Texas, and it gets very hot. I have dry skin, but in the heat, we get sweaty and makeup slides around. It doesn't last as much, or we're going on vacation and we're out all day. I think skin prep for me is really, really big. I think finding a gel sunscreen that works really nicely under makeup that isn't going to contribute to extra grease and slipping and sliding on your face. I am a huge fan of the Japanese and Korean sunscreens. It's so easy to order them online now. You can get them from Amazon. The one I always go back to is the Nivea Super Water Gel. You can get it in a pump bottle, put it on your vanity and pump it out. It's very easy to use. That is also the best sunscreen if you're trying to get your husband or your kids or someone that doesn't want to wear their sunscreen to wear their sunscreen every day. My dad, he never wants to wear it. And he's like, oh, I don't like the feel of it on my skin. But because this is so lightweight, because it's that gel formula, it really just sinks in and it's so comfortable on the skin and similarly looks beautiful under makeup. Another product that I highly recommend, I just bought this for a friend of mine who has oily skin. It's the Danessa Myricks Blurring Balm Powder. It's a very interesting, innovative product. It comes in a pan, feels like a balm, and it has a soft focus effect on the skin. It has an ingredient called upsolite that works throughout the day to control and moderate oils on your face. They sell it as a clear product. I
That's
have that
awesome.
one that you can use as a primer. So I'll just put it, like where I sweat, like the upper lip and around my nose. I'll put it in the center of my face. If you have oily skin, put it all over, wherever you think your makeup is going to move. They also sell it in different foundation shades. So you can wear it as a foundation. I use mine as a primer and then I like pair it with maybe like a skin tint or something like that. But that's another really great product to consider. And you can use that with whatever foundations you have. Like you don't have to buy a bunch of things to go with it. You can just incorporate it into your routine.
I love that it's
I think
blurring.
another Yes. Blurring is a
Give
very
me
trendy word right now in makeup.
blur me
Everything is like
out.
blur. I mean, obviously, like a setting spray, I think that's what a lot of people think of immediately. I like the Charlotte Tilbury one. A tubing mascara is also a great addition because mascara in the heat, it can smudge as we sweat or our lashes rub against our lids. And tubing mascaras, they're very long lasting, but the way that you remove them is just by splashing, hot water on your lashes, on your eyes, and then the mascara kind of comes off very, very easily in like little tubes. Like if you've never experienced it, it's kind of hard to describe, but it just slides off the lash. It does not smudge throughout the day until you decide, okay, I'm going to take this off with warm water. If you have hooded eyes or the eyelids, tubing mascara is the way to go. And the one me and my mom loved is the Hourglass Unlocked Instant Extensions Mascara. You can get it at Sephora and Ulta.
Have you tried the new Merit Uniform CC sunscreen thing?
Yes, I have it right here.
That's what
Great.
What SPF is it?
This is Merit, the Uniform Tinted Mineral Sunscreen SPF 45. They just launched this, and it's very hydrating, but not greasy. I wore this yesterday. I had to run out to get a haircut, and I was like, okay, I just need to do a 5-minute face. And this is kind of like that perfect two-in-one where you got your sunscreen, but it's also tinted, so you don't have to go in with like a foundation. And then I just add some concealer. So this tinted sunscreen or skin tint is great for the summertime.
Yeah, I'm glad they incorporated that. I love Merit, and I felt that was a gap in their product line just
Definitely.
because it's also hydrating. If you don't want to go in and put on a ton of stuff
Yes,
in the summer too, right? You can get a lot done in one product.
100%.
What's one fun, easy beauty look for summer for anyone, even if they're not super skilled? We might have mentioned a few already.
Yeah. So one I am wearing right now, and I think this is also a really great way you can like mix up your looks when you're traveling during the summer. I don't know if you guys can tell on camera, but I have a pop of blue eyeliner on my lids. I've done a neutral look today. A great way to change it up is to grab a colorful liner, and it doesn't have to look super bright or crazy, but I think a beautiful ocean blue, a turquoise, just kind of depending on your skin tone. You can do lilac for the lilac trend or a deeper purple. I really love just something that kind of like speaks to you from a summery perspective. You could stay neutral, but go for more of a shimmer. When I'm traveling, if I don't have a lot of space in my suitcase or if I'm trying to cut down on the products that I'm bringing, I bring essentials and tuck in 2 or 3 eyeliners to change up the look. They really don't take up that much space and it doesn't take too long to kind of like scribble it on the eyes. You could also do a eyeshadow stick because those are super fast. So it doesn't have to be an eyeliner, it could be a stick as well. The ones from Victoria Beckham Beauty are really beautiful. You got the classics from Laura Mercier. Another summer look I love that's very easy is kind of like a monochromatic look. Right now, bright sort of bright pinks and corals. We're seeing a lot of that in summer collections from different brands. If you pick one summer lipstick that you like, you can pop that on the lips, but you can also use it as a cream blush. So, you don't have to buy a separate blush to rock that bright summer trend. You can use products in multiple ways. If you only have a couple minutes, pop it on the lips, put a little on the cheeks and blend it out with your fingers. I love the ones from Merit, the legendary matte lipsticks. They are so creamy and give a beautiful soft focus. You don't have to use a mirror. Just chuck it in your purse.
Isn't that called the French girl aesthetic? Like the makeup where it's all using
One product.
everywhere.
Exactly.
I woke up like,
Yeah, I just woke up like this, smeared a little on, but then I made out with somebody, so it's blurred and messy.
I love that.
Yes.
Amazing. I was chuckling when you were talking about the colored eyeshadows and pencils. This week, I'm in such a makeup rut, and I haven't been in such a makeup rut for a long time, but I was like, okay, this is enough. I'm going to try like, some goodies that we got from YouTube. And I pulled out like this eyeshadow that was like a little bit orangey, and I literally was I wanted to love it, but I was like, I feel like I look like I'm sick. Like I have like tuberculosis or something. And so I don't know. I think I did somewhere along the line I went wrong. But I have done that before where you pop on just your regular makeup, but you pop on like a blue eyeliner, like either over or under. It does add so much to the look, and it's easy, like you said. And
Yeah.
it's not intimidating. It doesn't feel like how I felt like, whoa, it's a very distinct look.
You just have to find your color. My aunt wears minimal makeup, but always looks so beautiful because she always wears this like beautiful purple, like deep, rich purple eyeliner. That's just her thing. And I think it looks, she's a Greek woman, so she's got like dark hair and kind of olive skin, and it's just the perfect color for her. I think an olive green is a really sophisticated option as well. If you don't want to go for something really bright, that's also a very like trendy color, but it doesn't have to be trendy.
Yeah, that's great. I'm excited to play with the makeup bag
Me
again.
too. All right. What are some of the luxury products or products that are worth the splurge? What should we spend more money on in your experience?
I always recommend starting with foundation and concealer. Making your skin look better and flawless, if we're talking makeup and color cosmetics, I see the biggest impact in those kinds of like base categories. I am a luxury foundation junkie. I love Chanel, Clé de Peau, Chantecaille brands that are really known for their skincare because typically you see that sort of elegance and effectiveness translated into their foundations. You could tell there's a lot of thought, a lot of R&D put into the formulations. I usually recommend find a brand the skincare speaks to you and then take a look at what foundations they make.
You know what I thought was really interesting? I totally agree. I'm not a big foundation girl. I usually do more of a CC cream. But last summer I found this foundation at Guerlain in Spain, and it
Ooh,
transformed my life. Transformed.
wow.
I accidentally broke it before I was done and ordered another from Bloomingdale's. It wasn't the same formula, but it's the same
Oh no.
exact. Have you ever noticed that before? It's
Did it have
devastated.
SPF?
It was the same everything, the same foundation.
Some brands reformulate their products and people don't know. So that's something that I talk about a lot on my channel, just like really
Okay.
highlighting to people what's the difference, between this new one or the old one. How did they change the ingredients? Why did they do it? So sometimes that can be the case. I know that, when it comes to sunscreen, because that is more of like a regulated ingredient, there are certain filters that you're not allowed to use in the United States. And so sometimes they might have a separate version when it comes to the SPF, or they just won't sell it here.
Yeah, it seemed completely different. I returned it. This is not it. So I'm
No,
going to have to go back to Spain.
Oh, well.
you just got to go back now.
Gotta go back.
If you're like us and love how chic and powerful a heel makes you feel, but you also need the comfort of your sneakers, you need to try Inez. We are so excited to be able to offer a 15% discount to our listeners. Designed by a woman, handcrafted, and ethically made in Spain, Inez specializes in heels and often dresses up our most basic outfits while not stopping our powerful walk. Most importantly, you will not believe how comfortable and beautiful these shoes are. Find your favorite new pair of shoes at Inez.com, INEZ.com. Use the code WEALTH, WELLTH 15 to get 15% off your order.
I think foundation and concealer, those are the categories that I would really invest in. And then second to that, I would say brushes. You don't have to have a lot, but I think if you really want to improve your makeup application, I think having a good set of brushes or just a couple that serve the type of look that you create. It doesn't have to be a whole set. You could have just like four, you know what I mean? Depending on the makeup that you do. And I find that good tools make just the biggest difference. I remember when I first bought my first set of like brushes when I was in high school, it was a game changer for me. I'm very passionate about makeup
Well,
brushes.
you have your own, right?
I did a collaboration with one of my favorite brands, Esom Cosmetics, last fall. My set is not available anymore, but the brushes are still a part of their main line. They have really good stuff, makeup artist quality. So definitely love Esom Cosmetics. I love Refer brushes. They are handmade in Japan, but they're sold for a fantastic price. They're very good quality and they're literally handmade by artisans in Japan. That sounds
Wow.
like it's going to be super expensive. And for sure, there are brands that do like higher end versions with like special wood handles and stuff. But if you're not an enthusiast, you can focus on the basics. BK Beauty is another brand. I love their brushes. If you're into synthetic fibers, they're super soft. Once you have a couple good ones, they last for so long. Like I have brushes that I've had for many, many years. So once you invest in a couple brushes that work for you, I don't know. I feel like it's a complete game changer. I love to buy brushes for friends and family because they don't know what to get. And they're always so excited to like get the recommendations. It's like such a great way to like help your friends if you're into makeup.
I think it's also one thing you don't buy yourself, right? Like it's
Mm-hmm.
like a treat, like it's like a little luxury, or it's like you're not gonna necessarily wake up and be like, I need new makeup brushes.
How often are you cleaning your brushes?
You should clean them. If you're doing your makeup every single day, it's good to wash them every week, every other week. You can just set aside a couple minutes when you're listening to a podcast, when you're listening to a YouTube video or something. A lot of my subscribers will like to wash their brushes when they're listening to my live streams. And you just take a couple minutes, wash them, let them dry overnight. I recommend finding a brush soap. I like the one from Refer. It doesn't dry out your brushes if you have any with natural hair. And I just do it right in the sink. You can go on Amazon and search brush cleaning mitt. It's basically like a little oven. It looks like a little oven mitt, but it's rubbery. It's like a plastic, rubbery, flexible material. You put it on your hand and it's covered with little like grooves and stuff. Put a little soap on your brush, rub it on the mitt. So you're, gently cleansing the fibers, rinse it off. And then I just lay mine flat on one of those like dish mats or like a microfiber towel. Use warm but not super hot water. You just want to make sure you don't get water into the base of the brush. It's called the ferrule, like that little metal part that connects the fibers to the wooden part of the brush. Just want to make sure you don't get a lot of water in there. So you kind of hold the brush pointing down the entire time that you're cleansing it. But hey, if you don't have a fancy brush soap, you can use Dawn dish soap. Like if it's really caked on there, just use some Dawn dish soap. It like that stuff is meant to break down oil-based, grease and that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
So if you have like a foundation brush, hit it with a little Dawn dish soap.
That's a great hack. I'm picturing a modern day knitting meeting, like when Sophia does the live every Wednesday
Yeah.
on her YouTube, where she goes for an hour or two with her subscribers chatting makeup. And I could picture like modern day women knitting. Let's clean our brushes. I love that.
It's so
I get
fun.
overwhelmed with brush cleaning. I don't use them every day, but in the Sephora, I'll see brush cleanser. I've been using regular soap. I think that was really helpful information with like the
Yeah.
direction. I need to do it more.
I don't think I've ever thought about cleaning my brushes. I bought Sophia's brushes and I still haven't used them.
All right, we've got some work to do this summer.
You can play around
Awesome.
with them and you'll have some brushes to wash.
I love the Dawn little hack too because everybody has that soap. In terms of low cost options, what are some lower cost brands you recommend? A believer in luxury beauty, but if you're just want to get your feet wet, excited to try some looks, but don't want to spend a ton of money yet.
My recommendation is to check out a lot of the Asian beauty brands, the K Beauty, the J Beauty. And I know it can be a little bit intimidating, but there's so many reviews now on YouTube of like what the best products are because they are so far ahead of us here in like the Western world in terms of like formulations and finishes and just makeup technology in general. There's these brushes called, not brushes, blushes called Fui. The brand is called Fui, and they make these like, they're called the pudding pots. And the packaging is actually really nice for how much they cost, but it's like these little squishy, moussey cream blushes, and everybody just goes wild for them.
Wow.
You can get them on Amazon, but they end up being a little bit more expensive. I recommend Style Vana and Yes Style are two really good sites to explore Asian beauty because it'll be like drugstore prices. I remember when I went to Japan, I was just like blown away. This was years ago about just the types of products that they had, how cool they were. And we're seeing a lot of the Sephora brands like copy that style of makeup and copy those types of formulations for more expensive products. Like Ch Chanel just launched, or they recently launched last year, these like amazing cream to powder blushes. And I love them, they're great, and my subscribers love them as well. We've seen stuff like that for years from brands in Asia. I recommend checking those for something a little different. I also really like, as I mentioned, Rare Beauty. I think they're a very affordable brand at Sephora compared to a lot of the other ones that you see in the store. I respect they've kept products affordable. I love Merit. We've already mentioned them. They have this like luxury feel and luxury aesthetic. And I feel like the products perform just as good as my luxury ones, but the prices are not insane. They're very, very reasonable. I actually think that the matte, I've said this on my channel many times, I think that the matte lipsticks from Merit, they're almost they're almost exactly like the Prada lipsticks, which are very expensive. They are a great affordable alternative to the Prada lipsticks.
Amazing. The Japanese beauty brands weren't even on my radar. They're ahead of us. Why wouldn't we skip ahead and start trying what they're doing?
Money too.
Yeah.
Okay. What is a common beauty mistake that you see people making, if there is one?
Well, I feel like the biggest thing that I see people not do is they don't blend enough. Especially when it comes to eyeshadow, I think that's a more intimidating category when it comes to makeup. And sometimes it seems like it could be a more time-consuming category. If you're looking at your eyeshadow look and you're thinking, why doesn't it look like the girl on Instagram? Or like, why doesn't it look like the girl on YouTube? It's probably not because your eyeshadow isn't good enough or you're not good at eyeshadow. A lot of times it comes down to blending colors. Something I do with pretty much every eyeshadow look and takes me just a couple of seconds is I will take a finishing powder, or if you have like a setting powder that you like to use already. I really like the ones from Hourglass. I get like the little mini It's like very affordable, the little mini size, because it's going to take me forever to, it literally will take me a year if I used it every single day, maybe more than a year to use it up. And I just take a little eyeshadow brush and I dip it in the powder and blend the edges out. I show this to my subscribers all the time. You wouldn't believe how much more professional it looks when you lightly blend it out. Even if you just do one shade, like the Merit Solo shadows, you think, is it too dark? Does this look weird? Like something's off from what I see in the photo. Just doing that little blend, I think makes the world of difference. And it also does a great job of just like setting that area for longevity as well.
Awesome.
I'm guilty of that. I splatter it on and hope I naturally blend through the day. So eventually my natural oils will just dissolve.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does make a world of difference just taking an extra 30 seconds and using brushes or that little hack.
Getting to the end here, on the business side of all the products you're receiving, I'm sure it's overwhelming. How are you prioritizing what you're reviewing, what you're trying? What's your system?
It can get overwhelming when things move so fast and demand is high as soon as something is released. People want to see a review the next day. And then it may not have come in the mail, and then you have so much coming all the time. My recommendation, or what I do in my recommendation, even if you're not a YouTube creator, if you're just running your business, is it all comes down to your customer and what they want to see. I always prioritize what I think my viewer is the most excited about. And, sometimes there's a video that I want to do, but I just know that's not the number one thing that my viewer is going to click on and what she's interested in. I'm always doing what will best serve my viewers and subscribers. Now, how do I figure out what it is they want to see? Over time, I just know, like, because I've done so many videos on different brands, people will say, "Can you please review this?" And I just know nobody's going to watch that. I know what brands they really like, in addition to just past viewership. I also know based off of like number of clicks. Like if a new product comes out and I say on Instagram or YouTube, "Hey, this just was released. Click here to check it out." I can see how many people are liking that post, clicking on that link, commenting. Sometimes I'll post about a new release and so many comments, so many people are really interested. Sometimes I'm even surprised by what products might be super popular, or people are asking me in the comments, "Are you going to review this?" That quantitative data is really helpful. As Eva was saying, I live stream every Wednesday. I don't make any direct money off of live streaming. I do it to spend time with my most loyal subscribers, build a relationship with them, build loyalty with them. But also, they really teach me a lot about what they're interested in. Like, we talk about all the new things that are coming out, and I'll do polls like, "Are you excited for this? Is this a pass or is this a yes?" Or, "There's 4 eyeshadow palettes coming out. Which of these are you most interested in?" And so that kind of helps me figure out, okay, everybody's interested in the olive green eyeshadow palette. So if my budget only allows me to buy one, I'm going to get that one. Spending time with your customer to understand their preferences are, while also looking at like the quantitative data. That's kind of, you can put stuff out as like a little experiment and see how people react. That's another good way to judge like how to prioritize your time as if you're doing e-commerce or content creation.
Yeah, great advice for any industry to know your customer.
And take the time to get to know them. When you told me how often you stream and for how long, my jaw dropped, but it's so smart. You're getting information, building the relationship, and they're getting a lot from you too. You also get to put your finger on the pulse of what normal, regular people are, maybe not like other beauty YouTubers, right? It's like people that are watching you that really love the topic.
Yeah, it's just like if you had a local business, maybe you have a presence at other local events in your community, or you host events at your business, and maybe it's not something that you're like directly making money off of, but it brings awareness to maybe the services that you offer, or the food that you serve, or the classes that you hold, or whatever it may be. And you're kind of like meeting people in the community and building those relationships. And that's what I really like about YouTube, and YouTube specifically, is that I feel like it's a very long term type of
The long
strategy
game.
where, yeah, it's definitely a long game. Sometimes people try and treat it as like a get rich quick type of a thing, but you really have the ability to build that connection with people. And that's what I love about it.
Yeah.
That's amazing. It's working. Congrats.
Thank you.
Wait, just want to hear what is on Sophia's shopping list. What's on your wish list this season, both fashion and beauty?
Oh my gosh. With beauty, I already have so much, but they just came out today. I just bought them before this recording. Some of my favorite, more affordable blushes at Sephora are the Kosas Blushes Life Baked Blushes. They launched last year and looks natural and airbrushed on the skin. They just came out with 3 juicy shades for summertime. I have a lot of the shades, but I just bought the new shades. Highly recommend checking out those blushes. New shades or existing ones. They have a lot of options. That's on my list. I've been into like fringe this season. So
She's
definitely, yeah, exactly. It's very easy to wear fringe year round. So I feel like that's super fun. Fringe and raffia bags, I'm definitely into.
I've been into
Um,
raffia too. I just keep looking at them. I keep wanting them. Shoes, hats,
I know.
craving the
I
texture.
know.
Is there a bag in particular? Like something?
I really like some from Chloe. They have these cute ones with a leather handle, kind of like a hobo bag. It has a beautiful woven raffia design. It's expensive because it's Chloe, but it's one of the more like affordable raffia collections that I've seen out there. Some of them are super ridiculously expensive for like wicker bags and whatnot. But I feel like Cult Gaia also always has really good summer bags and those types of like seasonal materials that are way less than a lot of the higher end luxury brands. But I've really been liking the ones from Chloe. I'm a big Fendi girl, so I'm obsessed with the Fendi Raffia collection. They're celebrating their 100th anniversary this year. So not that I can buy all of the stuff, but I'm totally obsessed with all the things they've been releasing.
Isn't Murakami coming back too? Like the cherry theme for Louis Vuitton?
Just launched maybe like a week ago. That those collections though, there's been so much drama
I
because
know.
they're
I
just
always think of you.
they're just so hard to get,
Luckily, I don't
you
like
know.
them. I think I'm just too old for them. I'll like the cherries and the little flowery. No.
It's an acquired taste. You're either into it or not. It's very loud. It's I've been into the vintage Murakami bags. You can get the vintage ones in great condition for much cheaper than the newer ones. I love pulling them out and rocking what I wanted to wear in high school, a little Paris Hilton type
Look
of
at me now.
ensemble. Yeah, exactly. So I definitely am enjoying that, pulling out those types of things for the summertime. There's a Parisian brand I really love. They have a store in Paris called Tressé. They make the cutest stuff and do these like they call them what do they call them? Suitcases. It's basically a capsule collection. And each suitcase is inspired by a different location. So it'll be like inspired by Italy, so inspired by Spain. And the one that they have now is inspired by Greece. So of course I'm Greek American and my family lives there and I like anything that is like Greek, Mediterranean, Aegean inspired, whether it's like food, fragrance, vibe, whatever it may be. I haven't gotten anything yet, but I've been looking at the beautiful outfits they have from this collection. It's not luxury prices, but sort of like a nice, like quality mid-range brand that sell very unique pieces and prints. So that's something I'm eyeing this
Oh,
summer.
well, I don't want. You need to stop talking. I already want the lilac blush, olive green eyeshadow palette, more raffia. So now it's time for rapid fire questions, just like this and
Yay.
that kind of thing.
All right, I'll start.
Awesome.
Eyebrow pencil or blush if you had to pick.
Pick eyebrow pencil.
I'm shocked.
I need my eyebrows to look perfect. It's my
Well, you
thing.
don't
Wait, use like a
Exactly.
lipstick for your blush.
right. Bronzer or highlighter?
Bronzer. I am pale. I grew up at the Jersey Shore. Did not know what bronzer was back then. Definitely needed it.
Dior or Chanel?
That's a hard one. Probably Chanel.
Lady Dior or double flap?
Lady Dior.
I see, one of each. Perfect.
Coffee or wine?
I'm gonna have to go with coffee because I drink so much of it. I have a level 3 certificate in wine, but I
Wow.
drink way more coffee.
Thank goodness.
Exactly.
I love those. I love them almost equally, but if push comes to shove, I can give up wine, but I can't give up coffee.
Exactly.
Western boots or heels.
I would go with Western boots. Western boots are more interesting and fun.
And you can dress them up too.
Mm-hmm.
You can.
Netflix or Prime?
YouTube.
Share.
I don't watch any TV. I have 0 shows. I pretty much only watch YouTube.
I love it.
I'm getting there. It's
Education.
weird. Glass skin or matte?
I like glass skin.
Shopping in Paris or New York?
Paris.
I
But
get
I
that.
love both.
Yeah,
I love both.
wonderful. Well, we've got a lot to do.
Yeah, a lot of shopping and cleaning our brushes,
Yeah.
blending. This has been so inspiring, and it really was the little kick that I needed.
Thank you so much.
If you enjoyed today's conversation, the best way to support us is by subscribing, sharing the podcast with a friend, and leaving a review. And we'd love to hear from you. Comment below or slide into our DMs. See you next time.